Well, it is Fair Housing Month and the 48th anniversary, if you can believe that, of the Fair Housing Act. The Department of Housing and Urban Development receives thousands of complaints from folks being discriminated against when they try to rent, buy, or finance a home. If that's ever happened to you or someone you love, here with what you need to know about the law and your rights is Shari O. Shari, always good to see you.
Thanks, John. You too.
Boy, it's amazing when you hear it's the 48th anniversary of this. What exactly is the Fair Housing Act, and what does it do for us?
Sure. So the Fair Housing Act was part of the Civil Rights Movement, and essentially it says that when you go to rent or buy or finance a home, you can't be discriminated against based on your religion, your sex, your national origin, color, those protected categories that we're accustomed to seeing now. It's been expanded over the years to also include sexual orientation, age, and other categories. And essentially, the law was passed because out of recognition that your home and where you live is such an important part of your whole entire life and your success, and everyone who is able to afford a certain home should be able to have that on an equal basis, regardless of what color their skin is, for example.
Yeah, I was watching the Jackie Robinson story, and even though he was super famous and broke the color barrier, he had a lot of that, and a lot of folks did.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
And I mean, I can imagine that a lot of people, dealt with this back in the day. They were discriminated against when they wanted to buy, rent, finance a home. But isn't it surprising that it still happens today?
Well, it was deeply embedded at the time, but here's the thing. Some of these properties don't change hands that frequently. So, for example, when I bought my home, I actually looked at the deeds back in the chain of title because that's my thing. And the original deed from the developer to the first owner actually had a restriction, and it prevented the home from ever being sold to anyone who was black or Jewish.
Wow.
So now the Fair Housing Act came along 20 years later after that and made those types of restrictions totally illegal. We are always getting calls, though, from viewers who, for example, went for a condo approval board approval and felt that they were denied because they were gay, for example, or because they're African American. So it definitely still persists. On a nationwide basis, only about 1 in 10 Caucasians are denied a mortgage loan, but over 25% of African Americans are denied. So, there may be economic reasons for that, but the Fair Housing Act makes sure that the reasons are legitimate.
So if you feel you're being discriminated against for whatever reason, what do you do?
Well, it's administered by HUD, and HUD has local agencies. So the first thing you do is you file a complaint with the local agency. They will investigate. They may help you to reach what's called a conciliation agreement with the perpetrator, or they may arrange an administrative hearing. If none of that works, you may elect to litigate against whoever the perpetrator is. You have 2 years to actually file a lawsuit, and you can get attorney's fees and punitive damages and damages for pain and suffering. So the law has teeth. It's just a matter of people being aware of it and doing something if they feel they're being discriminated against.
All right, and hopefully now you know. All right. Thank you so much,
Sure.
Shari O.